We are going to do a tutorial today of a cat face. So it's about half of the cat face, focusing mostly on the eyes. If you'd like to join this tutorial, you can do so, get all the reference material information, what have you, in the link in the description box. Please let me know if you did it and not be afraid to share it. So I've already got the outline done for the eyes. We are going to use this indenting tool. I had it years ago when I used to do my nails a lot more fancier than I do now. It's got a little circle on the end. There's also wooden indenting tools you can get, which I think mine are all put away at the moment. But for this one, we're going to use this one. And this is great for whiskers and white hairs that go into other colors, which is what's happening in this. So what I'm going to do right off the hop, since I have an idea of where the upper lip of the cat is, like going into the mouth, let's see if I can move it a little bit closer for you guys to see. Right about here, I'm going to start at the root and wisp my way out, sort of trying to get it in the same spot where it is in the photo. Of course, it's not going to be perfect, but just do it and let it go out. My cat is probably going to help me at some point because he is sitting on my lap, looking and following my every movement, which is a little unnerving, which means he wants to play. Yeah, they're usually, it looks like these whiskers in this photo anyways are kind of in groups of twos or threes. This one, there's some more. Get your paw out of there. You know you want to be a part of this. We are not playing a game, Toots. Okay, and then there's a couple at the bottom. So even though it doesn't feel like you're doing much, it does make a difference, and you want to be careful where you do that because it will show later on. Okay, so we're going to start with dark sepia around the eyes. When it takes me an hour to find the dark sepia. Payne's gray. There we go. Okay. So I am using mixed media paper. You can use whatever you want. Like I always say at the beginning, if you don't have the colors that are listed on the link for the video, just Google the color listed and match it up to when you have most closely to it. Or you can do whatever you want with it and have something totally different too. So I am having you guys this time in my headset because I've noticed I've had some issues with, for some reason, my phone's microphone wanting to cut out as like a noise canceling when I'm not talking. And I think that's YouTube doing that. And then it does like a weird rumbling sound, and I don't like that. So I have you guys in a headset in my ears, as well as earbuds in my ears to listen to an audio book at the same time. Even though I'm not really, yes, I'm not really paying attention to it right at the moment, but we'll see how this works out. So hopefully you guys should be being picked up by the mic in my headset, um, not from the computer or not from the phone itself. I'm actually just going to fix this. I don't know why I did it like that. That's why you want to do light strokes because then you can easily go in and get rid of that. This is Faber-Castell pencil eraser. You know, I'm cheap on Amazon. Okay. And then here it just gets a little bit thicker. Just going to take this picture and try to ignore my cat eyeing me up every 5 seconds, my pencils. Okay. Now we do have some hairs that go down into the upper eyelid. I might take that indenting tool, and you don't have to do this, but I might take my indenting tool and just into it. So just going to erase this area. You might see some paws joining us on the table because he's half on the desk, half on me. Okay. So the hairs go in this direction. So just doing that. Little subtle things like that can make all the difference. But you don't technically have to either. Okay. And then in the center, we have the pupil. What I'm going to do, there is a light gray on the outer corner of that eye. So I'm going to come in with, I believe this is a cold gray too. Yeah, cold gray too. And I'm just going to do a light line right here. You don't really see it yet, but you will. And then again, right along here. And then a very, very, very faint line right about here. Okay. And then I notice around the catch lights, there is like a gray hue to it. And even though I went around it, I'm going to make those catch lights, outline them again with the cold gray too. Okay. Then I've got the dark indigo. I'm just going to go around the pupil and watch where you are using an image for reference, because even if you've traced it, it's not going to be exactly the same. Or even if you sketch it in like I do, it still doesn't, it still isn't going to be exactly the same. Like I had to fix the pupil a little bit. So just keep an eye on the reference photo more so than your lines. Your lines are just there for guides. And then small circular strokes, just filling in the pupil with the dark indigo. Okay, and then I'm going to get a dark gray to come in around there. But for now, I think I'm going to stick with this. Okay, so we're going to come in with the yellow. Actually, you know what? I might use the cream. I'm going to use cream and just go around the pupil lightly. Careful not to hit and drag the black color out or the blue. It will be black, but the blue indigo, because yellow and blue create green, and we will have green, but we want it there. We want to create that green, not have this do it for us. Just looking. We're going to put some green right over top of it, so I'm just going lightly, not a hard pressure. And then we're going to take, we do have a light green. I'm going to put that right over top of the yellow. Just light circular pencil strokes. And if you need to do a little bit more pressure to get it to show, depending on your pencils or the paper you're using, that's fine too. Just start off light always at first, and then you can always build it up or press a little bit harder if you have to. Okay. And I'm going to bring this out a bit more because the green does sort of shoot out a bit. Oh, kitty. I know you're having a hard time finding a comfy spot to sleep. Okay. Okay. He's still keeping a close eye on my pencils, so I don't trust him. He's getting sleepy, so he might just fall asleep on me here. Okay. And then it almost shoots out like this. So I'm just going to very lightly bring it out a little bit further. Very, very light pressure. Just so that way it's there in essence underneath whatever other colors we decide to pick. Goes out towards this way. Be careful of those catch lights. Okay, and it goes out a little bit further, so I'm going to do that. Okay. Now we've almost got like gray colors in the eyes. Sorry, Bori. I'm actually going to put that light gray, or sorry, the coal gray too. And I'm going to cover the entirety of the rest of the eye underneath. So we're just going to do it lightly because we're going to cover over it in certain areas. There is quite a bit of gray in here. Again, circular pencil strokes, just lightly. Move your hand further, like higher up on the pencil if you are too heavy-handed. I'm just going to fill it in nicely. Now, I know certain areas are going to be darker and stuff, but until we get them in there, that's what we're going to do. Now, I'd like to get, excuse me, Kitty. I know, he's tired. I'm going to get another green. Trying to figure out what I'd like to use in that eye. Actually, I'm just going to grab my color chart here. Okay. So, it does look like there could be a bit of May green, earth green, yellowish for sure, and some olive green, permanent green olive, earth green, yellow. Okay, let's see. We got earth green, yellowish, olive green, yellowish. Earth green, yellowish. And I would like some earth green and some permanent green olive as well. Okay. And we need an earth green. Okay, let's see. Let's have it out. There's it's green right in front of my face. All right, there we go. Okay. So we have got earth green, permanent green olive, olive green yellowish, and earth green yellowish. So I like the idea of using these because they are greens, but they almost have like a gray blue tinge, which is where I think the earth green will be really good to come in here. And then I might add a little bit darker of a green in other places. But for now, I kind of like this. It's interesting how the lines go in. So we're going to come in with the olive green yellowish at first. And I just want to see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just create some of those lines with small circular strokes. And I'm doing it very lightly because I'm going to have it blend into the rest of the eye, like the rest of the colors that come in. I want it to be more blended and more subdued, but they are definitely there, so we can't ignore the fact that it's there. So we're just lightly adding them in. They don't have to be exactly as on the photo, but I'm just sort of grabbing the odd one and getting the same idea in there. I'm just doing small sort of circular strokes to build up the color. And that again is earth green, or sorry, the olive green yellowish. Okay. So we're just lightly bringing these through, taking your time. Again, they don't have to be perfect, but you do want to do some and just lightly pencil them in, even into the dark areas that'll probably be covered, but it's still nice to know they're there because you don't want to draw nothing. It's better just to draw the area and then darken it up than to have nothing at all. Okay, so we're just continuing around. And again, just light pencil strokes because you want them to be able to sort of be blended in as we go and more subdued. So it looks crazy right at the moment, and that's totally fine. We're just drawing in the lines nice and patiently. Okay, and then there's a bit of a line here. And then another one right here. And there is actually a mark that separates the second catch light that I didn't notice, so I'm putting that in too. Now that's a bit darker of a green, so I'm going to come in on the side as well with the permanent green olive. And I'm just sketching in some of the darker lines over on the inside part of the eye. Might even bring some along the other side as well. Small little pencil strokes that are circular. Okay. And then right here it gets a little bit darker. So I'm just building the green up a little bit right at the edge of the pupil. And then some lines, just lightly dragging them out. Same on the side. It doesn't go the whole way around, just more or less on in the middle of the outside outsides of the pupil. Okay. Then we'll bring a couple in here too, because there are some dark spots in here. There we go. Okay. So then we're going to come in with the earth green yellowish. And I'm going to go right over top of what we've already done. Just light feather pencil strokes. Okay. We're just going lightly, just lightly, and darken up areas as we go when we're done if needed. Okay. Just lightly, light circular pencil strokes. Okay, we're just going around. Just going around here. Avoiding those catch lights. We don't want to get them in the way too. Okay. And then along the outsides there, we're just going to build it up a bit more. Grabbing my drink. Okay. So again, it's still lightly. We're just building it up. And we're kind of avoiding that yellow-green area in the center. We're just going around. Around more the outside of the eye. Okay. And I think I'm going to grab, actually, a light cobalt turquoise. We're just very faintly going to go through the duller green and just bring some blue in there, kind of avoiding those lines. You're not going to avoid your lines entirely, but just lightly going around them as best as you can. Bringing in some blue. And it's just along the edges again, and then along the bottom here. And we're going to just bring the blue around here. It's going to come in again a little bit darker, a little bit heavier pressure. Just a light pressure still though, just enough to see the blue. And coming through. And then again here. There's a noisy airplane going through. It's been really loud lately. They must be doing I don't know, exercises or something with them. Okay, we're just deepening up the blue more closer to along the edge. And then right in along the catch light here, going in the white of the catch light, not the yellow beside it. And we're just bringing a little bit of blue in there. And then along the bottom. And then it kind of comes in like that. And then just a tiny little speck right there in the middle of this catch light. And that's about it for that. Okay. And we're going to come in again. I'm going to come in again with, I like to bring in the light green again over top of sort of the center area, just lightly to brighten it up a bit. Right over top of the markings we created, sort of like this, just to brighten it up a bit. Okay. And then we're going to come in. Let's see. Let's come in with the olive green yellowish. Actually, you know what? What I'm going to do, I'm going to come in first with the cold gray 1. And I'm going to lightly, very, very lightly, go over the whole of the area that isn't the brighter color green. So just around the outer edge of the iris, the outer sides, just like this. Those circular pencil strokes still. This will help sort of burnish it in too, but there is very much like gray throughout the eyes, so we just want to sort of capture that. And we're going to lightly put some light gray, like the cold gray 1, in the catch lights there. Okay. We're just sort of burnishing those in lightly. Okay. Then we're going to go in again with the earth green yellowish and go over that area again over top of the cold gray 1 we just built. Started doing it more of a green than a gray eye because I like the green and blue we've got started here. Okay, and then we're going to come back in with that light cobalt turquoise and go in again along the edges with a light to medium pressure. Going right over top. It's not a big deal if you go right over top. Not going over the entire eye, just over that area that's a bit darker, not right in the center area where it's most bright. Okay. Bring it around here. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to come back in with the dark sienna. Dark sepia. We're just going to go over that line. That's going around the eye itself. What I think I might do, we've got a really dark. I think I might use the dark sienna, and dark sepia, my lord, I don't know why I keep doing that, around the outside of the eye as well. Now we're avoiding those little gray areas we laid down earlier with the cool gray one, and you're not going to get it completely perfect because you may not be able to see them, and that's okay. We're just lightly filling this in. Just be careful to keep an eye where they come up, those little marks on the reference photo. So I've got another one coming up right about here, I can see. And if you go lighter and build that dark sepia up, then if you go out of the line a little bit, you can easily go back and erase it. Right about there. Okay. We've got another one around here. It goes around the eye. And it's pretty faint. So I'm just going to, first I'm just going to go down into here. Where the tear duct goes, tear duct area comes down, the darker color. Again, we're just doing those circular motions, light to medium pressure. Okay, and then I'm just going to lightly bring in, there is a line there, but it's very, 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 very faint. So I'm going to bring in the line and then lightly go back over it with like a feather-like stroke of the dark sepia. So that way it's kind of covered, but it's still lighter in that section. Okay, so it's about there. And I'm just going to lightly just do this right through it. And then we're going to go over the top here. Light pencil strokes, building it up. Okay. And there's a couple lines we made for the fur coming down into the eye. Not overly noticeable, but still fun to have it there. And then we're going to come in with the black. If I can find it. There you are. We're going to get right into this pupil and cover up the dark indigo, and that will just have given it a nice sort of enrichment of color. And then again, we're going to go around the eye. Being careful to watch those little highlighted areas, but if you catch them, it's not a big deal. Just lightly and then slowly building the black up. Okay, and back down into here. And again, I'm still doing those circular pencil strokes. I'm doing a light to medium pressure right over top of that dark sepia and the dark indigo in the pupil. Okay. And what I'd like to do is take, if you have a white or an ivory, I'd like to go right over top of that entire eye. Very lightly. Just sort of blending it in. Avoiding the pupil and the right outside colors. We're just lightly putting circular pencil strokes around the eye. Okay. There we go. Okay. And then I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go back in with that black. That is not black. Oh, it is. I didn't think it was. Just making sure I get in there nice and deeply. And then we're going to take the earth green, and where we see that it's a bit darker here, right about here, around the outside corner here, we're just going to build the color up. Light to medium pressure so you can see the color a little bit. I'm going to build up a bit of shadow. And then right here along the bottom, it comes up. Still doing those medium circular pencil strokes. And then right about here, there's another area. And then in here, it gets a little bit darker. And then here, it starts to get darker. Right up to that catch light. Right above here. Across the top of the eye. Just above the pupil. Coming right up to the pupil line. Okay. Then we're going to come in with the permanent green olive. Actually, no. I'm going to come in with the olive green yellowish, sorry, and just go right over top of that to deepen it even more. You won't have to use as much pressure for this one. And we're just dragging it out lightly so it fades into the other colors. And then here it's a bit darker. And along the bottom here. And then it builds up. Okay. And then it goes back. above sketch light, about here. And above this sketch light. And above the pupil. And right about to there. There we go. And then I'm just going to fade this into the other colors. Actually, I'm going to grab the earth green yellowish and go right over top of those dark colors again and drag it out into the rest of the eye lightly, not hard pressure. We're just sort of blending this outside green into the rest. Light pressure. And if you need to build it up because it's not working, you can, like not showing, you can just lightly build it up as you go. Okay. And I'd like to go in one more time with that white or ivory if you have it. And just going over the entirety of the color of the eye again, leaving the pupil alone in the outside edges. And we're just doing light to medium pressure to blend these colors in and make them look a little bit more glassy. There we go. And then I'm just going over the black and dragging it into these little light lines that we brought in. So I'm going over top of the black and dragging it into the white. There we go. That way it's just made it a little bit more subtle. And then I'm going to grab that black one more time and just build it up a little bit more in the pupil area so it's nice and rich and dark and vibrant. And again, around the outside of the eye. With a medium pressure. Just want it nice and bright black. And again, everything you need for this tutorial is in the link above, or sorry, in the description box. It takes you to a link tree. You just go to free tutorials or animal drawing tutorials. I believe it's the second one from the top, the second link, and then it'll shoot you right to my website where you can choose between this one and other tutorials that you might want to do. And there we go. And we will be back to do the rest of the face.